Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I believe today's video is going to be a pretty big epic one because I have decided to do a video on my entire Chanel collection. Okay, it's not epic by a lot of other YouTuber standards, but I think in my own eyes, I have never believed that I would own this many Chanel bags. I've actually been thinking of maybe downsizing my Chanel collection. It is by no means massive, but it's also not an ideal size for my liking because as I progress into appreciating Hermes bags more, I feel like I should free up some space and move some of the value that is in these Chanel bags into Hermes. So I know that Chanel has been the bad boy of 2022, what with the crazy price increases and the declining quality, while Chanel has been getting a lot of bad press and also making moves towards trying to elevate themselves to the level of Hermes. There are many of us that fell in love with Chanel and the history of the brand, and I don't think that love is going to die out anytime soon. Well, without further ado, I want to just get started. I have no particular order. At first I was thinking of doing this chronologically, but honestly I might do the bags by type as well. So obviously my first Chanel bag, like any other luxury collector, I think this is a very common story for all of us, is the black caviar leather with gold hardware classic flap in the medium size. Now, I got this in 2019, and yes, I started my Chanel collecting in 2019. It was February, and I believe Karl Lagerfeld had just passed away, and I had been sitting on the fence as to whether I should take the plunge into Chanel, and I think that event was just big enough for me to get started. So I started with this. Now, the strange thing is that back then I was watching a lot of luxury YouTubers in 2019, and Minnie from Minx for All, she had a black reissue in the 226 size, and I really wanted that bag because for some reason that bag kind of appealed to me a lot more than the classic flap. So I would say that this bag is it's something that it's kind of an acquired taste for me, and I think for a lot of people. So you don't for some of us at least, you don't immediately fall in love with it. But that said, it took me about a year or two before actually using this bag really seriously. I would say 2022 is the year that I have used this bag the most, and my love for this bag has grown even more with time. So moving on from that, since we were talking about the reissue, I definitely had to get my hands on this bag. Now, this was not a boutique experience bag because for many of us, we are aware, if you do your research, you are aware that the Chanel reissue bag, for some reason, does not hold its value as well as the classic flap over here. So actually in the boutique, I was my first time in a Chanel boutique buying a Chanel bag. I actually was more drawn to the reissue in the 226 size. I also was aware that I would probably get a better deal if I went pre-loved with this one. And so I believe this bag is a 2015 bag, and it has been authenticated by Entropy. And on top of that, I actually had a pop stitch last year on the inside of the bag here. So as you can see, where there's this secret pocket at the back, so there's this compartment. I'm not sure if you should be using it as a secret compartment, but over here there are stitches. Okay, there's something here. I have no idea what it is. Okay, there's some like passes, whatever. So the stitches on this side, on these sides, like one of them came loose last year, and the whole compartment was starting to tear away, and you can see those stitches actually join to the back of the bag here, as you can see. So anyway, I brought it into the Chanel boutique, and they definitely fixed it for me. So that's how I know that this bag is actually indeed authentic, and it is one that is very hard wearing. It is also a lot less shouty. There are absolutely no logos on it, If you really look, there's a little Chanel at the bottom here, but it's barely perceptible at all, and it is the perfect crossbody length for a bag. As you can see, I'm not sure if you can see that. Yeah, it is the perfect crossbody length, and it has just the most satisfying sound when you do this. Is that not the most satisfying sound? And I love doing that with this bag. It has the most gorgeous chain. Honestly, I prefer this reissue chain to, dare I say it, the classic flap chain with the leather woven. I mean, I do love this chain as well, but I think this one takes the cake for me. I actually only have one reissue bag in my whole collection because over the years, my love for the classic flap just exponentially grew. So in late 2020, so 2019, 2020, I actually pulled the trigger on a Burgundy caviar leather classic flap in the medium size with silver hardware. So this is actually a 2020 collection bag. I actually store these bags with protector this way so that they won't get that marking, that indentation in the leather flap, which is caused by the zip, which is actually one of the well-known design flaws in these Chanel classic flaps. But anyway, I digress. So for the longest time, I had been very obsessed with Burgundy and getting a classic flap in Burgundy. And I think back then my ideal was the Burgundy with gold hardware. But for the life of me, I couldn't find one. And the one or two that actually had popped up were crazy expensive. They were twice the price of what you would pay for retail back then. And so when this came out, I wasn't sure until I tried it on. And for some reason, the silver, it's like the first time I had tried a bag with silver hardware. And for some reason, I found that this bag, it's so much easier to wear on a casual basis than one with gold hardware. And don't get me wrong, I am still drawn to burgundy and gold. I believe that is probably my first choice. But this bag has a special place in my heart as my second classic flap in the medium size. And I use this a ton. Truly, I've been using this since the day I got it, and I think it is my most used classic flap. Actually, it's my most used Chanel bag, if I'm not wrong. So moving back in time again, I bought this a vintage dark beige colored bag. I can't remember the year. If I find the year, I'll pop it down in text over here. And it has that 24 karat gold plating hardware all around the bag, and it is got that flatter logo. It is very capacious. It is only a single flap. I keep it stuffed like that. And I've traveled with this. I believe I took it all over Austria with me. And it is a very carefree bag because it is a vintage bag. I don't think it's ever been spot. You can see that it has aging. The lamb skin is super soft. And I find that this bag is extremely carefree and great for travel. So I'm just going to move on to my caramel Chanel 19 bag. And this is in the 21p. This was from the 21p collection. Yes, it smells extremely divine, and this lamb skin is very hardy and durable. It's held up really well for the use that I have put it through. I used it a lot when I first got it, but I actually don't use it this year very much. I think I've used this less than 5 times this year, and I think that's largely to do with the fact that I've been using my gold Birkins more. And it is the same kind of caramel, tan, camel color that I'm absolutely infatuated with. So I do love this bag. It is so pillowy and beautiful, but I actually haven't been doing it justice, and I haven't been using it as much this year. But we shall see if I can put it to use next year. In the same year, I also got from the 21A collection this black lambskin Chanel 19. And these two are in the small size. And so I went through a Chanel 19 craze where I just found it the perfect crossbody daily bag. And I think that is still true. But for some reason, I actually use this bag a lot more this year. I use it In fact, I think of all my black bags, this might be my most used black bag. And for the reason that it is very, very carefree. And there's something about Chanel and black and gold that just works. It just really works. What began as me thinking that this was my prized possession, I actually have begun to value this bag a lot more lately than this bag. Sorry. But I love having these two in my collection. There are days where I do think that having two Chanel 19s in my collection is a bit redundant because I don't tend to use this one very much anymore, but we shall see if that love comes back. So moving on, I want to touch on a different style of bag, and that is the Coco handle bag. I have it in the extra mini size here, and I also have it in the large, or in the past they used to call this the medium size. I think they call it the large size now. But you can just count the number of quilts across. I believe it is 8 quilts. Is it 8? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3. Like 8 quilts across from the logo, if you count it this way. And I think this is just like 4 quilts across on this. So this is the extra mini, and this is the medium/large size. And this was, I think, from the 21... I want to say this is from the 21S, where there's this pale lilac release. And honestly, this bag is the bag that sparked my pale lilac obsession. And I wanted it. I couldn't get my hands on it because I think I was traveling when it was released. And then, you know, as with any Chanel bags, within the first day or two, it's all gone. And I had to get this at a premium on the resale market. And I actually paid quite a lot to get it in a brand new condition straight from the local boutique. I absolutely adore this bag, but this is probably my least used Chanel bag in my entire collection, mainly because of the color. It's this pale lilac. It's really gorgeous, but it's almost white, so I am terrified of color transfer, and it is quite a massive size, so it does tend to rub up against things, and I'm kind of afraid of getting the corners worn out. I used to feel like this was the absolute best Chanel bag out there because I could wear it crossbody, I could wear it on the shoulder, and I can wear it top handle. So this definitely wins in terms of versatility. This one I love for the crossbody and the cuteness of it, but this seriously is a little bit useless in terms of capacity. I tend to pack a lot when I actually bring my bags out, so this can't even fit my phone in it. I have to downsize to just a card holder, a lipstick, a few pieces of tissue paper, and that's about it. Some cards. But it is so cute and so tiny, and you know, honestly, if you're traveling and you just want to bring 1 or 2 small pieces, but you want to, you know, have other bags for rough wear, I would say that this actually is a pretty good choice because it's caviar leather. It's quite hard wearing. It's a really small size, so you don't have to worry too much about it. This is my only other mini bag in my collection, and it is my Chanel mini rectangular bag. I think this is from 2018, if I'm not wrong. I got it pre-loved as well, so it's definitely a bag that I don't baby, even though it is in lambskin. So for some reason or other, I've noticed that a lot of Chanel collectors out there, they have a real problem with the creasing in the back flap, especially over here where when the bag opens, you know, it tends to get creases. But honestly, I feel like that doesn't really bother me. I feel like leather is going to crease with time and with use, and it is part of the charm of leather, so it doesn't get to me at all. This bag has been through a lot. I also carry it everywhere, and it's definitely a statement piece. It is one of my absolute favorite Chanel bags because it is so special. It is a limited edition piece with all the charms. It has a lion, a heart, a 4-leaf clover for luck. The lion really gets to me because I'm also a Leo, and I believe Chanel herself was a Leo. And I don't know, this bag is magnificent. Just look at the details of this bag. It's It's one of a kind. It's in the H gold hardware. I mean, it's a mini rectangular bag. Like, it's very easy to use. I will definitely keep this bag forever. It is definitely a forever bag. I want to talk about iridescent bags because I only have two. This one is one of them. I will put the year, and if I can find a season, I'll put the season here because off the top of my head, I can't remember these things. So this is a pearly iridescent ivory bag. I thought at first it was calfskin, but I think it's lamb, and it's extremely, it doesn't feel like lambskin. It feels extremely hard. I mean, it does get scratches, but honestly, over time, the scratches tend to fade away, as with any lambskin bag. It looks amazing for the amount of use that I put it through. For the longest time, I was tempted to get a white Chanel classic flap. You know, I don't know whether it's me being brainwashed by social media and YouTube, and it's the trend to have like at least a white classic flap in your collection. But I can't pull the trigger on it, mainly because I have this pale lilac bag and I don't use it because I'm scared of color transfer. But this one, I'm not so scared of color transfer. I don't know whether it's because of the finish. It feels very, very hard. It's super hard. It's super stiff. It doesn't feel like your regular lambskin. Much like this Chanel 19 in the 21p. It doesn't feel like lambskin because it feels very durable and hard wearing. So I can say the same for this. And I've taken this bag out a lot. So it goes with a lot of my clothes. If I need a white bag in any situation, I use this bag, but it's not quite white, but it fits into that category of white and it matches with a lot of my clothes. So I ended up using it quite a bit, I must say. It does have the creasing thing as well that people are so bothered about, but I think that's what happens when you use your bags. So there's a little part of me that's concerned with the wear, with how iridescent finishes age with time. And I have another iridescent bag here, and it is my unicorn holy grail bag. So this one is in iridescent caviar, and you can see that this one is in iridescent lambskin. And they both have their own appeal to it. For the longest time, this was the one that got away. So in 2019, when I was actually first interested in this bag, I late in the year would pop into Chanel to look at what other bags they had. And I, having bought this one bag, and it was my first Chanel purchase, and I had that queasy feeling in my stomach. I wanted to throw up. I don't know if you guys have that feeling because I've never spent that much money on a bag before. So I couldn't bring myself to buy any more Chanel bags for that year. And in 2019, they released this soon after I bought that black one. And I saw it in the boutique. And I really wanted it, but I just couldn't bring myself to spend anymore. And I let it go. And since that moment, I've been thinking about this bag all the time. So I did it. I paid a premium. I paid way, way over retail to to buy it in 2021. I am absolutely happy to have it, but this is one of the luxury mistakes that I hate to bring up, but I should highlight in case any of you are watching and you are thinking of going pre-loved. You might want to be careful because when I bought this online, they took photos of it. They took the inside of the bag, of course, and it looked perfectly in like a brand new condition. But when I got the bag in person, I don't know if you can see that the iridescent wear and tear has some of these discoloration marks over here. And this can only be seen if you specifically tilt the bag, and then you can look at the inside. So the reseller who sold me this bag took a photo like this, and it looked completely clean and brand new. So I was a little heartbroken because I had paid so much above retail for it. And while I was really happy to have this bag finally in my collection, I must say that I did feel a little cheated because they did tell me that it was in a brand new condition and it wasn't. So please be careful when you're buying pre-loved. Ask for as many photographs as possible in every conceivable angle if you want to buy it, if you're not able to see the bag in person. What hurts even more is that in 2022, Because it is the year of recession, unfortunately, I have been seeing more of these bags being released on the resale market and people letting go of their 19S iridescent pink bags. It's like, it is infamous for being the perfect. I mean, I think you can see it here with sufficient sunlight on it, that it is such a perfect pink. For the longest time, I couldn't find it. It was so hard to get on the market before 2022. But then this year in particular, I've seen at least 3 of these on the resale market and for way below the price that I paid for it. So it kind of stings to know that I could have waited a year extra and I could have gotten a bag in a hopefully a better condition, most probably a better condition and for a better price. So you live, you learn. This year in the 22C collection, they came out with a very similar pink bag. So here they are side by side. This is 22C. This is 19S Iridescent. This is in the matte caviar leather. Let me just put it very close. So it is very, very matte. I think over here you can see, just like doing a crunch. I'm doing crunch here. Over here you can see the color more carefully. I do think the iridescent pink definitely catches the light better. But honestly, it is such a close match in terms of just the tone of pink. This one, perfect brand new condition. This one didn't come so well. So I think for a while now, I've been contemplating letting go of the iridescent bag, even though this was the one that set my heart alight in the first place. But when I got this bag, I was infatuated with it. I used it quite a bit. I got it around the time of my 10th year anniversary last year. It seems a little redundant to have two, and my brain tells me that I need to let go of one of these pieces, but I can't for the life of me decide which one. Those of you who have iridescent bags in your collection, can you please share with me how your bags age, how to take care of them? So far, I've had these bags for a year, more or less a year, and I would say this one definitely ages really well, and minus the discoloration marks, which were there when I first received the bag. I have not seen any other problems with this bag despite using it as well. But in general, I would say that Chanel Classic flat bags are bags that I don't use on a daily basis. I think that covers all my bags. And this one is the one from the latest video that I've shared with you. And this is a 21S pale pink, the lilac pink bag that I just acquired. I love it so much. I don't think I'm gonna let it go. It's my only small size classic flap, and it is very similar to this one. The classic flap version has a little bit more pigment to it, so I think that the pink purple color is more obvious, and it's also a shinier caviar leather, and this is way more of a matte caviar effect. So I would say this is a smidge more saturated, and this one is more pale. They are both super gorgeous. I know this one can pack a punch, so to speak. When I used to have a Chanel jumbo bag, I think this could definitely hold as much as a Chanel jumbo bag. From what I've seen on YouTube, it basically holds as much as a rectangular mini, and this is the bags. These are the bags side by side, and yeah, this one looks much larger, honestly, but because this one has the double flap and this is just a single flap, I would say that it is pretty similar in capacity. Yep. This looks a bit thicker at the base. So yeah, I think they're pretty comparable. But this one has more strap options, and this one has only that single grommet where the straps come out from. So I would say that this is definitely a more versatile piece. And that brings me to the end of my Chanel collection video. I am actually wondering if I should let go of yeah, I'm sorry. I thought this would be a forever bag. It still smells divine, but I actually thought maybe I should be letting go of this bag because I don't use it, but I'm not sure. Let me know if you think I should keep it, and I don't think I'll let go of the matte pink bag, but let me know if you think, oh my god, Let me know if you think if I should let go of the iridescent pink bags. Actually, you know what? Like, just holding these bags up right now and looking in the camera with it, I just don't want to part with any of these bags, so maybe I'm just not gonna let go of anything. I hope you've enjoyed it. I have enjoyed making it. It's kind of overwhelming to see all my Chanel bags in one place. Quite possibly this might actually be my very last Chanel purchase, and I'm also trying to be more prudent in my spending, so I'm actually hoping that I will save the funds and put it towards the next Hermes quota bag offer that I do get. So fingers crossed I will get that offer soon enough. And I think I've rambled long enough on this video, and I'll see you guys in my next video. So take care. Bye.